Yo, what's going on, boys? In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to brainwash yourself to accomplish difficult tasks. The reason I'm making this video is, and I'll give you guys a quick story here in a second, in order to become, the best version of yourself, right? The version of yourself that is in the best shape of his life, is making the most amount of money, has the best relationships, right? The best friend group. It's not going to be easy, okay? And the reason I'm making this video is because, I'll give you guys a quick story. I had a deep tissue massage about like a week ago. And it was the first time I ever had one in my life, and I'll be honest with you guys, it was kind of painful, right? To be frank, but I knew it was going to be good for me. I knew I wanted to go through it because obviously I wanted to know how it felt and everything. But at the same time, I knew that my muscles needed it, right? My whole body was sore, my chest, my back, my arms, legs, right? Even my abs, right? And so I couldn't go to the gym because I was in a state of recovery, and so I know I needed a deep tissue massage, right? And as I'm going through it, there's parts where she was like really like leaning on my muscles, right, and like really getting in deep, and it felt like really good. And then there'd be a time where like she pushed like super hard. She'd go like a little a step like deeper, and it just kind of like hurt. You know what I mean? It was just like uncomfortable, right? It didn't feel that good, right? There was some parts where she was like right in my arms, it felt great, and there's other parts where she would like really just like dig into my muscle fibers and then like move around a little bit after my muscles were already sore. And it kind of made me realize in these moments of like, this hurts, this sucks. In order for my body to regenerate itself, in order for it to gain these muscle fibers back and to build the muscle back in the best amount of time, like, this is good for me. This is something that I need to go through in order to become the version of myself I'm trying to become. So I stuck through it, right? And there's a lot of people, I feel like, in that certain situation who would have just like, no, stop, like, do it lighter, right? Don't do it as hard, right? And my mentality of in that moment, I almost brainwashed myself. In fact, I did, to believing that this is a good thing. I need to go through this. I have to go through this, right? And sticking it out in the moment to ultimately get the outcome that I desired. Now, you could relate this to anything, right? You could relate this to ice baths. You could relate this to going to talk to that girl who you think's hot, but you don't do it because you're scared you're going to get rejected, right? You could relate this to anything that's hard that you need to do, but you don't want to go through it, right? And as you're going through, you're like, no, stop, like, get out of this as soon as possible, right? This video will help you brainwash yourself into believing that what you're going through is a good thing. It ultimately benefits you, and this will allow you to accomplish these difficult things to become the best version of yourself. Also, if you guys do not know who I am, my name is Peyton Vindasius. I went from complete broke university dropout to 7 figures in 3 years running a door-to-door window cleaning company with my brother, built the sales team from top to bottom, and I make these videos because this is what my younger self would have loved to know when I first started my entrepreneur journey. But without further ado, let's get into it. So number one is you need to understand your goals. Where do I want to go in life? What does the version of me a couple weeks, even a couple months, a couple years look like, right? What physique do I want to have? How much money do I want to be making? What are the kind of people that I want around me? What are the skills that I want? Do I want to be confident when I meet someone, or do I want to still be, maybe you're introverted like myself? When I first, 3, even 4 years ago, I was very introverted, right? I didn't like meeting new people. I was very insecure about my physique and how I looked and everything, right? And over time, I've built a physique where I'm like, yeah, I have a bit of confidence. I feel good. I look good, right? And I need you to understand, before we get into everything else, is understand your goals. What do I want my life to look like? Because we cannot get to where we want to go if we don't understand what that life looks like. We know what do you look like? How much money are you making? What are the kind of people that are around you, and who is the kind of person that you want to be? Okay. Do you want to be working the 9 to 5, or do you want to be running your own business? Do you want to be going to school and uni or college, or do you want to be, trying to start a business or whatever it is, right? And so when you visualize what you want your life to look like, now we have a clear goal in terms of why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, so that's number one. Understand your goals. Number two is understand the decision that you need to make. So I'll relate this back to my massage. This video might be kind of interesting, but it's just kind of something that happened, so I'm just going to run with it. So I knew that, again, what was my goal? My goal was to get a deep tissue massage. Why? Because it's going to help my muscles grow. It's going to help me become a better version of myself, right? And I had to go through this because I know that it was going to benefit me. It was a good thing. Number two is understand the decision that I needed to make. I needed to get it done. And this could really be anything, right? I have to go to the gym. Boom. You know the decision that you need to make, right? Now, does this line up with your goal, right? So the version of yourself that you're trying to, and I'm going to constantly go back to the goal, right? If you do not have a solid goal, you will not understand the process very well, because you will not be able to visualize why you're doing what you're doing. You'll be like, oh, like, I can just skip the gym. No, but that's not, that doesn't align with your goals, right? Oh, if you want to be skinny, or you want to be fat, or you want to stay out of shape, right? Yeah, not going to the gym definitely aligns with your goals, because that's the version of yourself that you're trying to become, right? If you want something bad enough, you're going to go get it. So understand your goals. Number two, understand the decision that you need to make. If your goal is to be a business owner and you are constantly and you're going to consistently work the 9 to 5, right, without trying to start the business, right, that's the only place you're going to end up. Now, if you're working the 9 to 5 and on the on the side that you're trying to start the business, trying to get it up and rolling, for sure, keep the 9 to 5, keep that money coming in. And then when you're making the same, if not more, amount of money with the business, that's where you quit, go all in on the biz, right? But understand the decision that you need to make. Does this decision align with my goal? Okay, figure that out, right? And this would be going to the gym, starting that business, getting out of a relationship, it could be, quitting university or dropping out of uni or a college, right, to start the business or go all in on something else, right? It could be anything that's difficult. If it does not line up with your goals, do not do it. If it does line up with your goals, you need to make the decision, but you need to find out what that is, okay? Number three is tell yourself, I will do what is required. 90% of this is going to be mentality, because everything stems back from your mentality, okay? When you know you need to do something, okay, and as I'm going through the massage, I'm laying there, right, and she's like, digging into my back, and it hurts, and it's painful, and she's moving around the muscle fibers, and she's like, I feel like she's, literally rubbing my friggin' spine or like my intestines, right? I say to myself, I will do what is required. I will do what is required, because the last thing I want to do is just tell her no, like, don't do it, like, focus on like, squeeze less, right? Or if I'm in the cold shower, right, I'm like, oh, get out of here. But when I'm sitting there, right, if I'm like, oh, I will do what is required, right? If I tell myself over and over and over, you are brainwashing yourself to believe what you are doing is a good thing, right? Now, this video might be super scattered, right? But again, right, this is the version of myself I'm trying to become. Me making this video is literally a testimonial of me, going through this process with you guys. I will do what is required. The version of me who is more confident, better in front of the camera, making better quality videos, is helping more guys start their business on self-improvement, right? I'm trying to become that version of myself, but I have to go through this mess up, or me fumbling my words or stuttering, whatever, to become that. So as I'm going through this video of telling you guys how to brainwash yourself, I am brainwashing myself as I'm making it to make the video, right? I'm telling myself, I will do what is required. I will do what is required, right? You could relate this back. Again, what are your goals? You trying to get into shape? You're trying to get out of a relationship, you're trying to start that business, right? It could be you're trying to get closer to God, right? And if you're going through it and it's not comfortable, it's hard, right? Your brain is telling you stop, but you need to do it. You've already made the decision. Continually tell yourself, I will do it, and say it out loud. You will activate more emotion around what you are doing when you say it out loud. It has more power than just like thinking, right? And so say it out loud. I will do what is required. I will do what is required. So you're in the cold shower, you want to get out, but you want to get in better shape, and you want to have more energy, and you want to have less brain fog, and you want to have all the benefits of a cold shower. Tell yourself, I will do what is required. And you sit there, right? And you endure the pain as you're telling yourself, I will do what is required. I want a better physique. I want my muscles to heal, so I'm there in the massage, right, getting my muscles literally pushed in and squeezed together, right? It's good for me, right? It's going to help me grow. It's going to help me, my physique, my muscles heal, right? I'm telling myself in my head, I will do what is required. I will do what is required. That is number three, and this is so important, and you can use this across anything, right? You're on the doors and you're getting smoked. You're knocking door to door. And you're a salesman, right? You're getting a lot of rejection, people saying, oh, like, I'm good, I'm not interested, all this kind of stuff, right? Tell yourself, I will do what is required. In between each door, I will do what is required. This is the type of person that you are trying to become. This is what is required for you to go through to become that version. But again, it stems back to your goals. I hope this video is making sense. This helps me get through what I need to get through, so I will share it with you guys, okay? Number four is, once you're doing it and it's hard, right, tell yourself, this is why it's hard, and this is why most people quit, okay? This is actually part of, I think Alex Ramosi talks about a lot about this as well, okay? This is why hard is hard. You're on the run, you're running, and you're trying to get into shape, and you're trying to, beat that goal, or run 5K in a certain amount of time, whatever it is, right? Your body's tired, your muscles are sore, the lactic acid is building up, you're out of breath, right? This is why hard is hard, and this is why most people quit, right? You're starting to make videos, but you want to make content, you want to become an influencer, you want to become maybe a coach or whatever, right? And you're making these short form videos, these long form videos, and you're messing up your words. You're going through this process, you feel out of place, you're not confident, right? All these kind of these thoughts are going through your head of like, oh, I'm not made for this, I'm not good at this, right? I should be doing something else. What am I doing? I should quit, like all these kind of things, right? Flip that, get rid of that bullshit, and tell yourself, right, this is why hard is hard, and this is why most people quit. Simple as that, right? Do you want the results of 99% of people? No. Maybe yes, right? If the answer is yes, okay, quit. If the answer is no, now you know what you need to do. Again, it goes back to your goals. What are your goals? Understand the decision that you need to make, right? Do I need to do this? Yes. Does it align with my goals? Yes. Does it align with my goals? No, right? Find out what that decision is, and then tell yourself, I will do what is required. And then once you're going through it, tell yourself, this is why hard is hard, and this is why most people quit. And that will allow you to understand that this is what I need to go through to become the best version of myself, to get to my goal, right? Whatever that is, okay? Keep going here. This is what is required of me to become the person I need to become. This is what is required of me to become the version of myself I am trying to become. You have to go through these things to become this version of yourself, right? You have to go through these things to get to your goal. There is no shortcut, right? There is no magic remedy or magic way of getting to your goal or becoming this best version of yourself, whatever it is. Quinn has a video where he talks about you never save time by trying to save time, and the same thing is for money. You never save money by trying to save money, because you'll either cheap out on whatever it is you buy, and you have to buy something new where you spend more money, but you also spend double the amount because you have to pay more because you need better quality, whatever it is. Or you don't save time by trying to save time. You try and fix something quick, and then it breaks again. You end up having to spend more time to try and fix it. You need to go here, whatever it is. Understand that, again, relating this all the way back to, I will do what is required to become this version of myself I need to become. You have to go through this in order to become that version of yourself. There's no shortcuts. You need to go through this, okay? Number 6, okay? During that time, tell yourself you want more of the pain you're feeling, which is allowing you to grow. Now, this is something that most of you guys be like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, what are you inviting the pain? Yes, right? You will get to a point where you invite more pain because you understand to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. You have to go through pain. So the more pain you go through, the more you're going to grow. Right? And don't take this out of context. Don't be like, oh, and if I snap my leg in half and then I snap my other leg, I'm going through pain and I'm growing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, going through something painful, which is allowing you to grow, allowing you to get better. Okay. So for example, if you're very introverted, right, and you don't like meeting new people, talk to 100 new people in a day. See what happens. Right? I guarantee you the person that you are at the end of the day is a lot different than the person you are at the beginning of the day, right? You learned something, you got new experiences, maybe you got more confident, maybe you met some really cool people, maybe you got the cops calling you, all this crazy stuff, right? And this is where you start to grow. Maybe you normally go in the shower, you normally take super hot showers, you hate cold showers. Go in the cold shower for like 3 minutes. See what happens, right? How much pain can you endure in a certain amount of time? And this is the idea to grow, but to grow fast is the more pain you go through right away, the faster that you're going to grow to become this better version of yourself, right? But most people, they slowly get better, No. Like, how much bullshit can you go through in a certain amount of time to become this better version of yourself? Okay, when you understand that the amount of pain you go through equates to how much you're going to grow, you encourage it, right? And so there's a part where I'm going through my massage. I'll relate this all the way back to my beginning story of where I'm going through the massage and it hurts, it's painful. I'm telling myself, I will do what is required. I need to go through this. This is what this is what is required. This is why hard is hard, and this is why most people quit, right? And then tell myself, I want more pain. I'm going through it. It really hurts. More. I'm like telling myself I want more of the pain because it's going to help me grow. Right? Get to that point where you encourage it because you know the more you go through, the more it's going to grow. This is the most ramble video I've ever made, but I'm going to keep running with it. I don't care. Number 7, you start to encourage yourself to go after hard things, things that your past self would move away from, right? Your new self looks toward things, the new things, inviting them in, and then we'll go to the next one after. But this is where you start to encourage the pain, right? You look for things that are hard, right? Like, I don't want to run today, but I know I have to. Oh, let's do it. Like, so you're excited, right? You get excited from these things that are difficult, that you know that most people do not do, but you do them anyway because you grow, you get better, right? And what happens, and I'll go to number 8 right away, is you get addicted to the process. You're no longer focused on the outcome. You're so focused on the input because you know you get natural dopamine when you complete something hard. You can rewire your brain to, and this is literally what dopamine is for. Dopamine is not for like scrolling. Our brains are not for scrolling, for short form content, for TV, Netflix, Instagram, TikTok. Our brain is not for that. In fact, it's one of the most addicting things in the entire world. And I go on and on about how short form content is really bad for your brain, how it shuts off, all this kind of stuff. But understand, when you complete something that's hard and you reap the benefits of what you put in, right? You get the result of what you were looking for after the hard thing. You get a spike of dopamine, of natural dopamine, when you complete something that's hard. Now, when this happens over a period of time, over and over and over again, you will get addicted to the dopamine of completing something hard, which is allowing you to grow, right? You look forward to these things that are difficult. You look forward to going to the gym when you don't want to go to the gym. You look forward to making that video when you don't want to make the video. You look forward to getting in the cold shower when you don't want to get in the cold shower, because you know the outcome gives you a natural dopamine spike, and that is what you were searching for. You're not searching for the quick and easy dopamine like 99% of nerds, scrolling, fat, broke, right? No connection to God, right? No relationship with the Lord, right? You're not searching for that anymore. You're searching for purpose. That is the key. Get to this point, right? Again, stems all the way back from your goals, right? And I'll go through this again afterwards, right? Number 9, every day you wake up and say to yourself, right, how can I get 1% better every day, right? This is where you get to the point of, and I'll go into a step further, okay? Your thoughts create your actions, which create your habits, which create your lifestyle, which creates who you are. Okay, and this whole entire video is about being able to brainwash yourself to overcome difficult situations. This is how you do it, because this is what you get in the end, right? Your thoughts, what you think, right, become your actions, right? What you do, right, becomes your habits. The amount of actions that you do over and over and over again become your habits. Your habits, right, they don't become habits anymore, it becomes your lifestyle, right? And then that shapes who you are, right? And so all of these things over a certain period of time shapes who you are, but you have to go through this in order to become that version of yourself. So who do you want to be? Who are you, right? What are your goals? It stems back from the beginning thing. So understand your goals, understand the decision that you want to make, right? And so, do I do this? Yes or no, right? Is this in line with my goals? Yes or no? Tell yourself, I will do what is required. Okay, you know the decision you need to make, right? It's go to the gym, it's get in shape, it's start the business, it's get out of the relationship, it's read the Bible, get closer to God. Whatever decision that is quote unquote difficult that you need to make, right? Tell yourself, I will do what is required. Once you're doing it and it's difficult, tell yourself, this is why hard is hard, and this is why most people quit. Again, if you quit, is that in line with your goal? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Quit. The answer is no. If quitting is not in line with your goals, do not quit. You have to keep going right through the process. This is what is required of me to become the person I need to become, right? As I'm going through the massage, this is required. I have to go through this. I have to go through this. I'm really brainwashing myself to tell myself I need to go through this. This is what's required. This is not a negotiable thing. This is not something where I'm telling myself, like I could quit. If I'm on a run, right, and I'll relate this to running because I've been running a lot recently, right? If it's difficult and I want to give up, it's not an option for me to quit. My brain will not allow me to quit. I have to continue, right? I have to continue. Even if I slow down a little bit, I have to continue pushing forward. I will not walk, right? If I tell myself, I will not walk, I can complete this, I can complete this. If there's people like David Goggins who can run at like 100 kilometer run, or like days on end, whatever it is, right? Then I can run 30 minutes to an hour, bro. Like, the fuck? I'm capable. It's your mentality that stops you, right? And so, now, number 6, during that time, tell yourself you want more of the pain, which is allowing you to grow, right? You want more of it. You're encouraging it, right? You start to encourage yourself to go after hard things, things that your past self would move away from. Your new self looks toward the hard things, inviting them in, right? You start to get addicted to the process. You're no longer focused on the outcome. You're so focused on the input of doing what is required, because you know the natural dopamine hit that you get when you complete something that's hard, right? Cold shower. Maybe you knock a certain amount of doors in a day, right? Maybe you talk to a certain, you're trying to overcome social anxiety, you talk to a certain amount of people in a day, right? You met some really cool people. Maybe you quit the 9 to 5 and you went all in on the business, right? This is what is required. I will do what is required. And then you encourage the hard things, right? How much stuff can I go through in a day and overcome it and get better? Okay. Every day you wake up, ask yourself, and this is the overall message, is every day that you wake up, ask yourself, how can I get 1% better? And most of the time, in order to become 1% better, you have to go through hard things, right? You're never going to go through easy things to get better, because that means you're just probably getting worse. How can you get a better physique? By not breaking your muscle fibers? You can't. How can you get smarter by not feeling retarded at the beginning? You can't. How can you get into a really solid relationship without understanding what a good and a bad relationship even looks like? What are the differences? What am I even looking for? What is my goal, right? You can't. How can you make a ton of money if you're going to be continually working the 9 to 5 and making minimum wage? You can't, right? In order to get the results, in order to get your goal, you have to go through hard things. This is what it will allow you, and this is what has allowed me to go through very difficult things that I do not want to go through, but I have to do them, okay? Your thoughts become your actions, which shape your habits, which create your lifestyle, which ultimately shapes who you are. And I give you guys a bonus one as well. Think about something that kind of pisses you off. Think about someone who has what you have. Maybe they got lucky. Maybe they're younger than you, right? Maybe they're genetically blessed, right? Think about someone who has something that you have, who already has your goals, right? Think about whatever that is. In the moment, it's difficult, because this will reactivate the emotion of what you need to feel in that moment to push through, to get through what you're going through. So give you guys an example. If I'm at the gym and I'm hitting legs, it's super difficult. I know I could do 2 more reps, but I'm like shaking, my legs are about to break, right? I'm thinking to myself, right, like, do I want skinny legs? No. Oh, this motherfucker, he's got huge legs, right? Why do I have to, fuck that guy, right? And then I go down, right? And then I go, fuck that guy, and then I go up, right? And I'm thinking about this, like, why does, you can reactivate the emotion of what you're feeling in these moments to become, to get past these difficult times. Anyway, guys, this was the most ramble video I've ever made in my entire life, right? I'm going to continue making more of these because I'm going to learn from them. I'm going to get better. And again, I will do what is required. But anyway, boys, I will see you guys in the next video.